Welcome to PB Projects. Today I'm setting up a PRS SE 24 custom. We are going to fit a new Graphtec nut, 6643. We're going to lower the action, try and get as low as possible, do some fret leveling, check out the electrics and just make sure everything's working as it should be. Let's get into it. So first of all, I'm just going to do an initial look at the setup it's currently got, see what we're working with, see what we can get it down to. Okay, right. So action at the first fret at the moment is, I think we'll start with the nut side. Let's start at 0.3 and see if we're close. A little bit higher than 3, let's try 0.5. Let's try that. Maybe a little bit lower, 0.4. So somewhere between 0.3 and 0.4, so it's not too bad at the moment. Let's try 0.35. There is a bit of space there actually. It's probably more close to 0.4. And on the low E, sorry, on the high E, high E is not too bad actually, it's quite low on the high E side. Let's try 0.25. Might even be a little bit too low on the high side. Just try 0.15. One point 1.8. So yeah, roughly about 0.2. And the low E is roughly 0.4, I think. Okay. I'm just going to remove the truss rod cover and we can check the release. Actually, I'll leave the cover on for now. Seems pretty flat, which is good. Again, we'll get a rough sort of idea. So roughly about 0.2, so it's actually flat, it's not bad. And again, just doing it by eye, I can see it's just a small gap. Maybe even be able to get away with putting slightly more in there. And then the action at the last fret on the lowy is 2mm. I've got 2mm on the lowy, so. Okay, so I've set the action at the last fret, and we've got roughly 1.5 there, and then roughly 1.5 there, so nice and straight. Let's check for buzz. A little bit of buzzing on the so not too bad. I did say that there's some notes choking out on bends though. Okay, so not too bad. I think just a light fret level will do. The next thing we'll do is get the nut replaced. So next time you see it, the old nut will be off and we'll be starting to install a new nut. So I've made the strings out of the way, I'm ready to replace the nut. It doesn't look like it's glued on too heavily, which isn't too bad, but what I might do is just give it a little bit of heat just to warm it up slightly and see if I can gently knock it off. Gentle taps. Beautiful. There we go. One nut removed. Let's try, see how this one fits compared to this one. So it's slightly taller, so we're going to have to drop it down, but lengthwise it seems pretty good. And width seems pretty good as well, so I will just drop it in quickly. Remove these from here. Pop the nut in for a second. So I do actually just dry fit the new nuts just before I start filling it, just in case. So the action at the first fret is roughly 1.3 on the low E and 1.2 on the high E. So I'm going to take 0.9 off the high E and 1mm off the low E. So next time you see it, the nut will be fitted and it'll be at the perfect action. So the new tusk nut is cut to size and it is got a lovely low action now at the first fret, but still playable. The next thing to do is I'm going to slack the strings off and mask off the fretboard, ready for fret leveling. I'll see you when it's all masked up. So back now with all the frets protected. I'm going to do fret leveling. This is a method I learned through watching Sam Deeks. I'm using a truss rod and with the guitar fully strung and under tension at the correct pitch. So I do it exactly the same way. So basically I will mark which frets I'm using for my level, and then I'll just go across them one by one, adjusting the truss rod as required. And this is just a cheap truss rod that I bought from Amazon for about a tenner. And again, just using slight sort of adjustments to match the curve of the neck with the truss rod. Until we're touching all 3 points. Using 400 grit sandpaper. And carefully pop a string out. And then just gently this is 24 frets, so we've got to remember to go all the way up and down to make the truss rods a shorter one. But just gently go up and down, stepping down again. So first fret's not too bad. Cutting all the way down to here again. Not really cutting too much here, and then back to cutting again. So I will just go over, and then I will pop the string back in and test for anything buzzing. A bit of a buzz down there, but not too bad. So just a little bit more leveling. I want to concentrate on the area of the buzzing. So the main reason I've taped up now is just to protect the neck and the bound edge. And last thing I want is to damage it if I slip off with the leveling beam, purely because it's bound and it's very expensive. Tiny bit more. And with this being a new guitar, there's plenty of life in the frets, so you can shouldn't need to worry too much about over leveling. I think they're about 1.4mm tall, these frets, so there should be plenty of life left in them for years to come. This is open down as well. A tiny little buzz on there. going until the buzz is gone, or the zizz. Makes me that my sandpaper a little bit long, because I've used this for a few guitars now, so it might just take a little bit longer to just really get out. Okay, let's give that a go. So yeah, we're cutting quite a bit around here, and around here, so we're quite high there. Tiny bit more. Hopefully that should be it then. Perfect. And then let's do the low, and then that'll be the fret level done. Again, using just the same calibration as the 8. So I may be able to just give the neck a little bit more relief, but I think the flatter we can get the neck, playing with that buzz, the sort of nicer it'll feel to play. I'll just bite the bullet and do it without the masking tape, because it's a little bit of a pain. But that's probably just me saving me a few scratches on the finish, which is nice. And again, slide off, be careful. I do like this method of doing the leveling of the frets. So I've done it a few times, taking the neck off or making sure the neck's flat using a fret ruler. And it is good, just give good results. But this one I like that you can check as you're going that you're getting rid of what you need. You're getting rid of that buzz. Because obviously if you haven't got any strings on, you can't do that. does just takes a bit of practice, I think, trying to do it this way. I just don't go quickly, don't push on the tool, and you're never going to take that much off. I think I did one a little while ago that had 1.1 millimeters worth of frets left, and I went through and leveled it like this, and I still had 1.1 millimeters level, 1.1 millimeters of frets left, and it was still, it was nice, buzz free, and customer was very happy with it. So with that one I felt I went quite aggressive on leveling, but it just really didn't take much off at all. So I think you've got to be doing something very wrong to be using 400 grit sandpaper and destroying your frets all the way down to the bottom, especially on new or nearly new frets, or only partially worn frets. And that guitar was a guitar that had been played solidly for like 8 years. Oh, that was me, that. Not fretting properly. So I think that's it. Fret leveling is done. I suppose the next thing to do will be to get rid of the strings. We don't need them anymore. I've got a new set of any balls to go on. I'm probably going to redo all this masking tape just so it's, well, when I get away, I might get away with it doing the crown with that on, just sort of trying to tidy it up a bit. So yeah, crown all the frets, polishing them up, sanding them and then polishing them up. So once all that's done, I will come back and show you the final product. So the frets have all been re-crowned and polished, lovely and shiny. Guitar's nice and clean. I'm just going to flip it over and have a quick look at the electrics, just to see if I can see anything obvious, any dry joints. Just get a torch. So I did repair a small problem. There was a bit of a dry joint on one of the grounds. Looks like it was one of the grounds for one of the pickups. I also had to redo the jack sockets as well. Again, there was a bit of a dry joint on the ground and for the hots, and then I also reconnected the jack socket on the jack socket because that was not the greatest, but everything seems okay on a quick glance. I'm going to just give it a quick squirt of electrical contact cleaner. See if I can get up in there. It was a tiny bit crackly, and then the push-pull part as well. See if I can get any sort of see if that will do anything on that. See if the switch just on here. Ground on there seems okay. So yeah, everything looks okay in there, but I'll give it a full test. I'll give it a full test once everything's put back together. So just got ready now to put all the strings back on. I'm just going to put these covers back together. I really want to peel this off, but I'm not going to because it's not my guitar. But I would love to peel it off. I'll have to leave that one off for now, just in case I've got to re-change the tension on the springs. So we're going for a new set of air balls. Double nines. a bit fiddly to get that one through. Come on, you can do it. There you go. So the tram was set up as just down only, so I'm going to leave it as that. Although it doesn't really, I don't think it gets used at all. So we could just deck it if we wanted to, just to add that bit of extra stability. But I will speak to the customer and see what we want to do with that at some other point. So we'll pop all these through. Do is also, the nut came off, so I will put just a small amount of PV glue on the bottom of the nut, just a tiny amount. I don't want it to be, doesn't need to be holding up the entire guitar. So if my glue wants to come out, tiniest bit of a small line across. Spread out evenly. I like to do that. Pop it in place, see what comes out. And then I'll start with the D and G strings just to hold that in place. I've already knocked it. So I will do the what's called up and over, or the up and under method. So I'll do it so that the loose string goes under the held string first of all. I'll pull that around and up, and then I will do, that's going everywhere, and I'll wrap it so it goes under, so it kind of locks in between the strings, rather than putting a knot in there, which can be a bit of a pain sometimes if you've got to take it out, so you don't want to damage scratch your headstock. And then a small pair of snips, just pop it off. So I'll go around and do exactly the same now for the rest of the strings, and I'll see you back once it's all done. So we're all done now, all restrung, strings have been stretched out, nuts fits in beautifully, nice and shiny, plays like butter now. Action on the low E is about 1.5, and action on the high E is about 1.2. Neck is super straight, so it's just so light to play. Electrics seem all fine, but I will give it a play for a little bit just to make sure. I'm sure the customer's going to be happy. Thanks for watching.